So Bangkok Airport, or Bangkok International, Suvarnabhumi, have now started full-scale screening, as far as I know, for the virus that's coming out of a certain country. And I'm just wondering if Australia would dare do the same. Would that be classed as intimidating people or something like that? I mean, from what I've read, this new virus has like a 75% kill rate. Like it's like encephalitis. Your brain swells up and, well, pretty much the show's over. Not a very good way to go. And is Australia going to follow Thailand's lead and start screening all flights from this country, or people from this country, or all passengers coming in from that part of the world? Or are politicians more concerned with, I don't want to offend anyone, I wouldn't want to make a certain group angry, so as long as I win my seat, fuck Australia. So I just saw the other day in Australia that there's some, and this is for real, who want to name heat waves, name them after fossil fuel companies, which is bullshit. They're resource companies, and without them, the Australian economy may collapse. So I just saw people in Australia, on or around Australia Day, burning the Australian flag. How is that allowed in Australia? And getting sledgehammers out on memorials to soldiers and wars past. So after the terrible beach incident in Australia, it looks like someone who may have gone to one of Australia had to have their name changed for their own protection. Imagine if that was the other way around, the outcry. There's a Gulf state now. To protect national identity and stability in the country, they've been revoking citizenships. There may be up to about 50,000. And not only that, the dependents or the children. I know the argument is you can't make people stateless. Well, so I've heard a lot about inflation and government spending and all things like that. And what people, well, you may want to keep in mind that that's more the media. Inflation, without going into the bond market and everything, it's not really what you see in the supermarket. That's a consequence of inflation. Inflation is more the money supply. And as I said, without going into the bonds and all that, if you increase the money supply, but the amount of products in the supermarket, there's the same amount of items in the supermarket, but there's more money available for them, then prices will rise. Plus you're devaluing the currency. And then if you've got to spend that money to buy imported goods, everything from materials for housing to ingredients for the food that you might be buying in the supermarket, it affects everything, the money supply. Cheers. Like inflation is like one of these buildings. If I go up in the elevator of one of these big buildings around here, I don't inflate, or the lift doesn't inflate, it just goes up. So the price is a consequence of inflation, the money supply. But price rises in the supermarket. I heard the Prime Minister the other day talking about that, and one of the ministers talking about rents or something like that. So you got price control, Germany in the 1930s. Rent control, Germany in the 1930s. Socialist economies don't work. Look at Venezuela. So I've heard the OECD are now on about raising the GST in Australia. Now, I've been on about this for quite a while, raising the GST. I think it definitely should happen. The GST is a broad-based tax, and whether you're a billionaire or wherever, you pay it. It should be only attached or associated with income tax cuts to Australian citizens only. Be maybe a flat rate for Australian citizens of, say, 15%, with a high tax-free threshold of maybe 70,000. So if you're on a pension or something like that, you can work, supplement your state pension, which should be a lot higher.